Hey everyone, this is Becca Kephart with the Ladies of the Chains Disc Golf Podcast.
Kim Janola from Team MVP.
And Nova 64 Polite with Team Ozone Discs.
And we're back to bring you round 2 coverage of the 2018 Jonesboro Open presented by Prodiscus. Our FPO lead card features Paige Pierce, who shot a 12 under in round 1 that was 1025 rated and the new course record here at the Disc Side of Heaven for the Women's Gold Course. Madison Walker sits at 5 under, and Sarah Hokom and Catrina Allen are tied at 4 under.
We've got the cold, we've got the snow, we've got the slippery conditions. Today is going to be fun.
And our thanks as always to Terry Miller, the Disc Golf Pro Tour, and the PDGA for bringing us this FPO coverage along with Dynamic Discs. And like Kim said, we're going to see a big change in conditions today. In fact, this round is 50 degrees colder than last year's round 2.
Paige Pierce is first up on hole 1, par 3, 380 feet. Gets a little bit too much turn on that drive, and that's down in the bottom on the right-hand side. Madison Walker corrects. Her caddy whistles in approval, and that's in the middle of the fairway. A little bit short, but not too terrible. Sarah Hokom opens up with a forehand. Not quite high enough, it just catches that ridge, but it is still safe in the middle of the fairway. And rounding out the lead card, Catrina Allen slips just a little bit on the drive, but that still makes good progress up the fairway.
You can see that snow, it's really coming down pretty good. Makes it very hard to keep those tee pads clean.
This is a pretty tough hole today. We had one bird on the day. That's a dot.
Hey, I'd take a dot in these conditions.
I would take a dot in these conditions.
Yeah, compared to the first round, 380 feet is a lot farther with just the addition of a little bit of snow and wind.
Yeah, and obviously footing is going to probably be an issue throughout this round. But these ladies are managing it pretty well so far. Looks like everyone's going to clean up their par.
And our one bird on the day was from Jennifer Allen. So she went birdie on this for the first 2 rounds.
So we've got a star par as we head into hole 2.
Hole 2 is 605 feet playing uphill. There are 2 routes. There's the backhand route, which you see here. And that's just fine. And of course, Sarah Hokom is going to play up the left-hand side on the forehand line. Much better result today in the snow than yesterday in the dry.
Oh, you can see Catrina slipping there. Looks like her drive still got off okay, considering the loss of footing.
You probably heard Paige Pierce and her caddy sounding very satisfied. They're quite pleased with the result of that second.
You can see the flag on top of the basket there whipping pretty good. And that's what's so difficult is not only do you have the snow and the footing to contend with, but we have much more wind today than we did in round 1.
Sarah Hokom continues her way up the left side of the fairway to rejoin the card at the green.
Up until about 2 weeks before this tournament happened, I had considered playing it. It was one of those that I kept trying to see if I could make the trip to Jonesboro happen, and I just couldn't. I ended up deciding Ledgestone was going to have to be my priority when I'm road tripping for this. But seeing this now, I'm not quite as heartbroken as I was 2 weeks ago.
A good par there from Sarah. And a birdie from Paige. Great
the
birdie.
The only birdie on the day.
Mm-hmm. And an absolutely parked up shot.
Madison collects her par. hopefully see Catrina tap in hers as well. And we'll be moving on to hole number 3. After 2 holes, Paige takes another stroke to go 13 under par.
Hole 3, just 310 feet. You can see there's a strong headwind coming just a little bit from the right.
And considering the footing and the wind she was dealing with, Paige just crushed that.
Did that go even 200 feet?
Well, just about 200 feet, Madison.
Good forehand flex there from Sarah. And yet another slip from Catrina.
I don't know if that's a deliberate hyzer, but it definitely placed to the middle of the fairway.
Right, I'm not too far. Oh, God. No.
Sarah misses her birdie attempt there.
Yeah, she knew it as soon as it left her hand.
Yep.
It's a terrible feeling to have.
Ooh. And Paige with a miss as well. Madison will convert her par, however. Sarah with a very short comebacker, still into the wind though. But she's just fine, cleaning up her par. Paige will do the same, as well as Catrina. We'll move off of hole 3 onto hole 4.
And we're going to see a lot of par on the scorecard today. It's going to be a very white scorecard.
Here we are on hole 4.
This is a really tricky hole. We talked about this in the first round. You've got this tunnel shot right up the middle off the tee, or you can elect to go for that higher hyzer route to the right.
Sarah is not at all happy with the result of that drive.
Just close my eyes and throw. Jesus.
Wondering if Catrina's going to line up that hyzer route. And sure enough, she does.
That's got to get up to get over that. It looks like it's caught a limb, come up just a little short. Taking the hyzer outside again.
Like a good recovery shot from where she was. We'll have to see where she landed.
Madison Walker gets over just a little too far on that second, and that comes down out of bounds.
Don't do it. Stop. Oh my God.
You could see that disc had kind of a little bit of a splash there. Definitely a lot of moisture there fighting as well on the ground.
Gorgeous.
This is Catrina Allen's third, headed for the green. And that's just inside circle 1. So, good recovery. And Madison Walker's upshot lands just outside circle 1. And watch for the skip. That is just about parked. Paige Pierce is third. That needs to sit down, and it does.
You can see the flag blowing there. This is not an easy putt.
Yep, right into the headwind there.
Good job, Kat.
Yeah. Good accounting for that headwind. Float it right in. Madison makes her putt from the other side of the basket, dealing with a pretty strong tailwind there.
I'm not going to lie, if I'm putting for double bogey, I want the wind at my back.
You know that's right.
This is a rough hole. I shouldn't say over. Approximately 2/3 of the women's field bogeyed this today. You can see with the pole on the flag. The pole on the flag, that worked.
That basket is up on a
It is
elevated
blowing
green.
hard. That is
It's
what
exposed
I
to
meant
a
to say.
lot of wind. That fiberglass pole is really flexing under the strain of the flag.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to say.
No worries.
Thank you.
Paige taps in for the par. Very good considering the conditions today. And we're gonna head to hole number 5. This is your layup or go for it hole.
Good stop, Paige.
I think Paige was thinking about perhaps going for it and also just taking her 30 seconds here to wait for the wind to die down.
Yeah, if you've got good speakers or headphones on, you can hear that wind howling. It's definitely a thing.
Looks like Paige still going for it.
That is a big rip, but that's going to have to get some legs. That
clipped a
has to get
tree.
some legs.
Oof.
Yeah, the tree kicked it.
Yeah, it took just enough off, and it drops out of bounds.
Oh my gosh, don't do it.
Sarah going for a similar play that she did in round 1 with that layup, but unfortunately that one got away from her. One may have affected that a little bit as well, and she's way off in the left there. Looks like a good layup there from Kat.
Yeah, I really like the way Kat played this round. Most of her shots were very smart. She didn't go for too much, and she understood the conditions were going to limit the options she had. Played very clean considering.
Really great upshot there from Madison right under the basket. Paige from the drop zone. It looks like she's over safe.
Sarah Hokom's upshot looks like it caught that last branch, and it may have passed over the over the green before dropping OB.
Great shot from Catrina there. She'll be under the basket as well.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, she took her lie there up on the green.
So bogey for Paige with her OB stroke.
And Sarah Hokom's going to be dropping in a double bogey after that unfortunate chain out. Excuse me, triple. Not happy with the basket.
And Catrina drops in her par. I believe Madison will do that as well. Really good management of the hole in these conditions for sure. So we're going to move on to hole number 6. This is that signature 350-foot shot over the water. Maybe not looking so fun today.
Catrina Allen's drive doesn't quite make it fair. Madison Walker is up next. That's also staying out to the right and short and in the water. That spotter is going to be very cold if they're out there in the water today. Paige Pierce up next. Also testing that right-hand side and does not clear the barricade. Sarah Hokom lines up a forehand. Has had 3 looks at the wind. Let's see what she can do with it.
What?
What? So close.
Nice.
A shot like that'll warm you up real fast.
It's got to be a good feeling being the only one not throwing from the drop zone.
It's not really a spoiler at this point, but half the women's field went OB on this hole today. It was a rough hole with the footing and the wind.
Good throw there from the drop zone. Madison to clean up her bogey. And a quick shout out to the tournament staff. By all reports from the players and the disc golf media, in this round they got hand warmers for everyone playing. They had big buckets full of towels on several holes, really doing all they can to help these players manage these conditions.
I want to give a big shout again to Kansas City diva Kaylee Kincaid, one of 3 women who birdied this today. Good job, Kaylee.
Outstanding.
So you just walked into a disc golf store. Look at all that sweet plastic. So many new discs to try. What if you don't like this new disc? Rest easy. When shopping at any of our buyback retailers, if you are not completely satisfied with a disc from Dynamic Discs, Latitude 64, or Westside Discs, bring it back within 14 days with proof of purchase, and we will replace it with whatever disc you want in the store, no matter the brand. It is that simple. Now get out there and play some disc golf. Check out dynamicdisc.com/retail to find a buyback retail partner near you.
And thanks to Dynamic Discs for their support. I've walked in and out the door of that retail shop a few times myself. That brings back some memories.
And we're on hole 7, par 4, 615 feet. Looks like the conditions are maybe improving just a little bit.
Yep, the snow has stopped, and if you listen closely, you can hear the birds singing or whatever noises it is the birds are supposed to be making.
Everyone just looking to get a good rip on this tee shot, get out as far as they can. This hole does finish a bit to the right.
Yep, this hole is all about getting a clean drive into the middle of the fairway and setting up for the second.
It looked like her footing slipped just a little bit and yanked the drive right.
That looked like another, just a little bit of a slip by Catrina. So tough. I mean, when you're on the road, you know, you want to pack for all the conditions you can, but you can only have so much.
Paige Pierce looking to get up to the edge of the green. Might be obstructed by just the edge of those rough trees.
That looked like a really good shot from Madison there. She avoided those trees that Paige just got cut behind.
Collects her high five from her caddy. Catrina Allen left a little bit still to do on that throw.
Ooh. Good run there by Paige. Found the window, just couldn't quite convert.
Yeah, gutsy play, because if that had caught a tree, she'd have been looking at another very long putt.
That did stay in. Good par there by Paige. And a good par from Madison. Sarah cleans up her par as well. I believe that was a bogey for Catrina. We'll check here.
That is correct.
Yep. 3 pars and a bogey. We're moving on to hole 8.
Okay, this is hole 8, 324 feet up to this elevated basket. Sarah Hokom gets her drive every bit of the 324 feet, but pretty far off to the left-hand side. Madison Walker is coming straight towards the basket and just stays clear of that rough that's short. Paige Pierce gets a lot of motion on this drive, and it comes down on just the opposite side of that clump of trees from the basket. That's going to be a tough play around. And Catrina Allen also just a little bit short, but her look is not going to be obstructed.
And we saw some really good drives on this hole in round 1. Again, these conditions just rough, along with it being the second day of a tournament.
And everybody's getting their second shots inside or just outside the edge of circle 1. Madison Walker's looking at about a 25-footer there.
Look at the wind.
Oh, and that continued to roll all the way down into the rough. That's going to be a long comeback for bogey.
Yeah, Sarah saw that and just decided to lay up.
Took her medicine. Paige from a knee. Oh, and chains out to the left.
She's smiling about it.
That's kind of what you got to do on days like these, is try to keep finding the fun of it. Try to keep your positive attitude as much as you can, because it's tough.
Madison Walker volunteered to put out a turn here, give Paige a moment to collect herself. Let's see what she does. This is a bit of a tester for par. And it's right in the middle of the chains.
What a great putt, Madison. That was awesome.
Okay, that's how you do it. That was the funniest thing you've ever done. Oh my God. I'm putting. I'm sorry. Going.
Paige Pierce not at all pleased with the way this hole has gone. Taps in her triple bogey.
Throw one decent shot on that hole.
And Catrina Allen, looking at about a 20-footer and this tough wind on the elevated basket for par. Leaving nothing to chance getting that disc good and dry.
And it's so great to see the pros in these conditions, because, of course, part of this sport that we love means that some days are just like this. The weather might be terrible, and things might be just all going wrong, and you have the decision to make of how you're going to just concentrate on the next throw, the next hole, the next whatever it may be.
That's not Catrina. The wind shifted there just at the end. You're doing a podcast pretty soon about the mental game, aren't you?
We sure are. Yeah, our next Ladies of the Chains podcast is going to be focusing on anxiety in the mental game, because, again, it's a big part of disc golf, and on days like these, it's a whole different story. So we're going to move into the last hole of the front nine. Everybody's struggling here a little bit. Now, hole 9, par 5, 715 feet. In round 1, we saw really most of the FPO field just do really, really well on this hole. But obviously, again, the story today is a little bit different.
Catrina Allen gets out a little bit to the right. It's tapped a couple of branches, but it's not losing too much momentum. It carries up the fairway. Paige Pierce not pleased to have turned that over into the wind.
That was lower than Madison intended.
You can see that this does go uphill.
Paige Pierce is second from some really bad footing. That's flaring out early, and she is audibly frustrated.
Terrible shots in a row. So mad.
Let's combine the footing with the extra layers you have to wear. Your mobility and your flexibility are both hindered by this. You're not going to get the range of motion that you typically need to make your shots.
Yeah, if anybody at home is thinking this is easy, go put on your puffiest bubble goose and give this a try.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Sarah with her forehand out there. Madison approaching the basket.
That's looking like it'll skip right up there.
Good shot.
Oh, I was laying up, really, but
Paige elects to lay up.
That's what she said it was.
Yep.
That is a fantastic putt.
That was not a layup.
No,
That
that
was
was
a
not a layup.
Beautiful run. Great birdie, Sarah.
Uphill with a crosswind.
From the rough, with a big log next to you.
Yeah. Good par there from Madison.
Quietly getting work done on this hole.
Paige takes a second after the last hole and puts it in for her par.
Probably not super excited to have a par, but it's got to feel better than the preceding hole.
Absolutely. Probably feels good to be done with the front
That's
nine.
a great bird, Cat. There's only 3 on the day, 2 of them from our feature card. Or, I should say feature card, lead card.
And that'll take care of the front nine. We'll catch you on the back.